Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Whenever I hear a scam, you know, like Kirby has it in the news, and I hear that they want you to pay in cryptocurrency, I always immediately stop worrying about it because I couldn't pay somebody in cryptocurrency if you had a gun to my head. I have no idea.
I'm with you.
I would have no idea how to collect cryptocurrency, and certainly zero idea how to pay somebody with cryptocurrency.
No kidding.
Well, I mean, in the latest scam, it makes it pretty easy. You just got to scan a QR code, and it takes you right there.
Again, though, I wouldn't. What takes me right where to do what? I don't know what I'm doing. We're like, great. I don't have any cryptocurrency, so you're not getting paid.
Yeah, let's take it back one step. I wouldn't even know how to open up an account for cryptocurrency.
Right,
Never
so
mind use the
That
account.
would be the red flag is when I get a call from Joe being like, so I'm trying to set up some crypto here, and I
Yes.
don't understand what I'm doing.
Trying to set up an account.
That's it.
I'd be like, Jojo, are you getting scammed?
So, Joe, you have a scam story from the weekend to piggyback on Kirby's scam story in the news.
Well, the 24-year-old was home yesterday explaining to us that I guess at work the other day he had ordered something for work through Canada Post that he had needed. And sure enough, that's how these scams get you sometimes. He gets a text.
I got the same text.
Okay, yeah, it's out there. So he ended up a few days earlier ordering this piece, but it hadn't come yet. So he calls down to this number to say, hey, has this thing been shipped? Because you're worried about customs. It had to come from the States. So, of course, what's this text? It regards a package that is stuck at customs. We've all seen these.
I got it too.
You got it too.
We all got it.
So here's the thing.
That is so funny.
He's not thinking. He's thinking that this is his package. So, of course, he hits the link on the text.
No.
And, of course, it takes you to this thing, and all of a sudden you're in, what do you call it, computer hell. It's just spinning. And then he realizes something can't be good. So he goes back and tries to get out of it, but realizes it's probably too late. So he's smart enough to go to his bank app and lock out his credit card because you
smart,
can do that now, right? So he
yes.
locks out, decides to phone the bank, and this is the funny part of the whole thing. So the bank says, yep, no worries, your card's locked. I would suggest you strip down your phone, like you got to clean off your phone because these guys can maybe, just to be sure. And, he's got a very low limit on his card, and the gentleman there is trying to sell him on upping his take on his Visa from like 1,000 to 5,000. And even the kid's smart enough to say, "Listen, man, I just got scammed. Like the last thing I want to do is open up more just in case they can get through." So this guy found an opportunity to try to sell him.
That's a salesman right there.
After he got scammed,
the bank.
I said, "Yeah, maybe know the room."
Yeah.
Like, anyway. But it's pretty simple to happen because.
But you know what? Like I saw that text yesterday, and it looked like if you do a lot of online shopping, it's the number that gave it away from me. It's like it came from a plus 63, 9, 10. Like it's just a weird looking number.
Well, and it says it comes from Canadian Customs.
Yes.
So that's another one. I've never gotten a text from Canadian Customs.
No,
Me neither.
I believe too. I think Canada Post would only email you. Anyway, I don't think they've ever texted anybody. But it did look legit. The kid said the same thing.
Look.
And the phone number, it was the key as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's they'll all, and this is the world we live in. People will text you. Companies will text you.
Yeah.
Companies will let you know when a package has arrived. It is so hard. We've been through this before to tell what's actually coming from the bank. Because the bank will email you and tell you that you need to contact us. And I'm always like, delete. And then my wife will say a couple days later, did you get an email from the bank? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, well, we're supposed to go in and talk about our mortgage. I'm like, well, I thought it was a scam. I'm not getting back to the bank. Hi.
The scam's on your bank. They should already know that they have to deal with Stacy on these things.
Philly Joe Kirby.
Philly Joe and Kirby
Podcast.
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Pissed off? Well, then get the off Twitter and call the Bone phone.
Don't make me look up from my phone.
780-BONE. Brought to you by Auto Gallery of Winnipeg.
I just like to say something about the people that drive with their brights on. There's a blue light on your dashboard. Look and see if the blue light is on. If it's on, shut the thing off. What the hell, people?
It's really that simple, hey?
You see it all the time. Now, there are those who will call up or text us and say, wow, these new vehicles, the new lights, it seems like the brights, but it isn't actually the brights.
Happened to me this morning. Actually, there was some deer on the way in by Assiniboine Park there, and someone coming the other way, it looked like they had their lights on, and there was another guy coming up next to me, and he flashed them. And then the guy flashed back, and you go, whoa. It was like those weren't the brights. They were bright enough. But
Blinded by the light.
yeah.
Okay,
That's it. And then that's it. Then Manfred Mann broke out.
Yeah.
And everybody was singing.
Slow driving was a topic last week, and this is a reply that we got within the last couple of days that I want to make sure we play.
Okay, this is for the guy who was saying if there was 4 lanes and somebody's driving slow, just go around them. I drive southbound Route 90 every day in the afternoon, and you've got 4 lanes. The 2 outside lanes, turning lanes. People going slow, turning off of those. Then you got the second lane over. You got a semi in it. Great. You know what? That's fine. You can go slow. Then you got some numbskull driving next to the semi, 45 in a 70. How the hell are you supposed to go around him when you've got cars turning on the left side and the other side's trapped to you by a semi? If you want to go 45, go in one of the curb lanes. Get the out of the way for the rest of us.
I'm telling you, the little beep beep, I think, could catch on as a way to let people know to, like, come on, pick up the speed here.
Well, I think that exists already. I just don't think it helps. If you're driving slow, you're driving slow. Like, they'll look at you like, what are you honking at me for?
Listen, if you look over to see who the culprit is at 45, it's not always who you think it is either, right? So sometimes you're going, oh, maybe it's somebody lost because that came up. Somebody lost. You can tell when somebody's lost and they're driving. You can tell. And there's sometimes it is a senior, but sometimes it's just somebody that shouldn't be driving. How many times
is not in a hurry to get anywhere, clearly.
How many times have you questioned how they even passed their road test? That's what? You know what I'm saying? So that's a...
If I see some gray hair, if I see a gray perm coming up from behind the seat a little bit, I know exactly why. Just a little bit of that gray perm.
And the Kleenex box in the back. Yeah, I mean, that's a dead giveaway.
I know what we're dealing with. Siren checking back in. Been a minute since we heard from him.
Morning, Philly, Joe, and Kirby. Siren here again, and all the great listeners. Okay, so I see on the news that they're saying only about 30% of road construction is going to be completed before the end of the year. I have to go downtown, so I'm heading down Archibald, and one whole lane is closed off, which has been about 2 weeks now for a little bit of road construction and some repair to the sidewalks.
It's been longer.
Today when I went down, there wasn't even anybody working. Everything looked finished. Come on, counselors from the area, get off your butts and check to see what's going on for construction in the area and stop sitting around to collect your pension.
That's my neck of the woods, and I'll talk to Matt Allard.
Kirby's on it.
But
Thank
literally,
you.
like, that section of Archibald, it's not just 2 weeks, man. That has been ongoing for months.
Yeah, it's like a lot, right? A lot of projects around town, slow moving.
Do you think the siren has ever actually just called the city councilor and just left the siren sound?
Should.
That
Once
might
the
work.
beep comes?
That would send a message.
You sure it would.
Okay, I tell you what, a lot of questions about this is a perfect call to play after we just heard siren, because this is a professor trying to explain why some of these projects go long.
So you want to know what takes so long about construction project. Well, it's the bureaucracy of enormous companies. Just finished up at a job site. Have to go back, obviously, because the time just got away from us, and we have to now go back later on to finish the last piece of the job in a few weeks. But we were originally scheduled to be on this particular job site for this multinational company for 2 weeks. We finally finished up after 6 weeks of being there. Everything was organized backwards. These guys could not pour the water out of their boots if the instructions were written on the heel. Permits were not pulled. Inspections were scheduled before permits were pulled. Technically, the work couldn't be done by the time the inspection was supposed to be completed. It was an absolute disaster. But companies get huge. There's a lot of paperwork, and you cannot make a single move without writing a dozen emails and having everything checked all the way back up to head office. Awful. awful situation.
That's perspective.
That's interesting because you would hear that come up a lot from just some office people, right? Never think about it on, these guys are working out there hard every day doing their thing, and all of a sudden they're dealing with the bureaucracy as well. Wow.
Yep.
Well, and paperwork. Nobody likes paperwork.
Exactly. Okay, let's wrap up with Guilty. Sounds like he's going to be in the house for an event that we're all going to be at. Coming up.
Wow.
Boom! Okay, Philly, I know you've been waiting for this one. Philly Joe, Kirby. Hey, I got that table. We got that table. Try Corin, and we're going to be there anyway. Never mind that. We'll see you guys. You guys are going to be there, right? I know Joe will be there.
Yeah.
But never mind, send a video. Yeah, Joe's going, yeah, blah, blah, blah. You better be there, sitting right beside us. So that's what I want to say. See you at the gala, and I'm going to golfing. Granite Hills next week. I got a foursome and 3 open spots.
Always with the golf invite.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, we're running out of time on the golf invite. I can tell you that as far as me being a fair weather golfer. But
getting chilly. But we are looking forward to Joe. You're being honored coming up this month.
Yeah, I didn't know Guilty's bringing the whole crew. That's good. Guilty might have a speech. Maybe he's up on the podium. We can only hope.
Oh, man.
The Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
And now, Philly Joe and Kirby present the not-so-new movie review.
The Last Boy Scout, 1991. Damon Wayans, Bruce Willis, a cop. Bruce Willis is the cop. It's kind of a buddy cop movie with a football player and a cop.
But more of a serious undertone than it is really a comedy, right? I mean, there's some great parts in this, but you don't mess with Joe Hallenbach, okay? The guy saved the president at one point and then fell from grace.
I want to quote him, okay?
Please.
Oh, yeah.
I am not a hero. I'm just a guy who's been in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Bang.
Yeah, bang. Speaking of that, his wife was having an affair, if you remember, with his best friend.
Yup.
Like,
That's tough.
Tough, and then, of course, you bring in one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and Jimmy Dix. That's one of the greatest quarterback names of all time, is it not?
Oh, my gosh.
But he's down on his luck a little bit, Jimmy Dix.
Yeah.
So that's where these two, and they're trying to solve a crime.
You're talking about his girlfriend dying? Because that's what happened, right? That's what got them together, if I remember.
Yeah, because the whole investigation kind of, that's when they team up to figure out what happened to Halle Berry.
Sounds like Aiello watched this too.
No,
over the
I didn't
weekend.
see it on the weekend,
wow.
but I remember because last week you were gone the day it came up, and it was Big N on the Bone Phone, one of our regulars that actually suggested the movie, and I was reading back on some of the stuff last week, so it was just coming to me, and I wanted to watch it this weekend because the first thing I asked Kirby this morning is, oh, wait, don't tell me, but I was all excited because I still think some of those names, like Jimmy Dix is a great quarterback name.
That name I remember.
I want a Los Angeles Stallions jersey with the name Dix on the back.
All I got to say is Bruce Willis's character is not a fan of himself, and he needs to find the confidence, because there's that scene where he's talking to himself in the car in the rearview mirror, and he's he's not happy. He's not a happy guy.
Well, he's a cop down on his luck.
Yeah, and I mean, there's some pretty intense action scenes. I'll give it that.
Well, it's an action movie. Yeah.
Yeah, but in the intensity of the scenes.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I thought the chemistry between the two, now that I've seen a few buddy cop movies in my time, wasn't my favorite. They didn't have that on-screen chemistry, like Nick
Nolte and Eddie Murphy in 48 Hours, man. Come on.
And this was actually is this not the same dude who directed Lethal Weapon?
Tony Scott.
Yeah. So I could see
He's
a
great.
lot of style in terms of the Lethal Weapon, series.
See, I didn't know that.
Into this.
I didn't know he did Lethal Weapon as well.
Well, I looked it up because at first I thought it was very similar, like cinematography.
It's a classic 90s action movie.
Yeah.
You know who was underrated to me in the movie? And I never forgot it because I had a chance to see him at Rumors once years ago because he's a comedian. Milo, Taylor Negron.
Yeah.
Who's a comedian, and he played the terrorist.
He was good.
In the movie, because he was the dude that called the football player, right?
Yes,
the running back guy there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's see what your rating is. I've got Rotten Tomatoes in front of me, but I don't want to tell you that because I don't want to influence you. Go ahead.
Well,
Kirby, what did you think of The Last Boy Scout from 1991?
considering it's an action movie that has a good plot about like sports gambling and it's Bruce Willis, I got to give it at least a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. Okay, that's not amazing. Some of your, so.
Well, it wasn't like it wasn't like engaging or mind blowing. Like it was just your typical. I mean,
but you're on par with Rotten Tomatoes, 46%.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. See,
low.
Bruce, I have other movies that I really like of Bruce Willis, so it was hard to kind of take this one as.
There's better Bruce Willis movies than
But
this.
would it be fair to say Bruce Willis in some of those movies is the star? In this one, he shares the spotlight.
Yes.
With Jimmy Dix.
Jimmy Dix, baby. We know what we're getting you for Christmas now, Joe. A Jimmy Dix jersey.
An LA Stallions
Oh,
jersey?
come
Yeah.
on.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
I'm going to put that video up on the 92.1 City Facebook page because it's essentially a reenactment of something that happened to Kirby when she was little. And we've heard the story on this show several times, how you were chased by an ostrich at the zoo when you were little.
Well, it was a fellow classmate's farm. We went on a field trip, and they had like a farm of all these birds. And
like exotic birds, I assume, like an ostrich, would that
Ostrich,
be considered
yeah.
an exotic bird?
Well, no, because I think ostrich farms were quite popular when Kirby was younger, right? And the llamas became a thing too,
they
right?
also had llamas there. I would have been just fine
Drayton
checking
Valley.
those out. But
Drayton Valley did not have a zoo. They had a buddy with a farm.
yeah, we didn't go to the zoo. We went to someone's farm. That's what we did for field trips. And I'll never forget, we were in an open field and they let these they're not an emu,
Ostriches.
Yeah, ostrich out into the area, and they're like,
They're big.
they're friendly, just no sudden movements. Well, I didn't make any sudden movements.
You obviously did. You must have.
I just feel like I might have made eye contact with one of them, and then all of a sudden it started running at me with that long ass neck and those two skinny legs.
But you can't run, Kirby.
And
That's
I
the
just started
problem.
running.
Yeah,
and then
see?
all of a sudden now it's
They're
chasing me
fast.
out. Yeah. And I'll never forget looking back. And now this video, I see this, it's just like, oh my God, that's traumatizing.
Well, sometimes you make eye contact and
So I found a video.
Oh my God.
of an emu.
On social media of an emu chasing around a bunch of kids at a petting zoo, and the kids are all bawling, and the parent, like, they're trying to get out of it. They're in like an enclosement.
Yes.
With this, and the emu's freaking out.
Look at that neck though, man. Like that thing, it just swings it around. And it's so fast on those two legs.
You got to feel for the emu, Kirby.
I don't know, but I do remember that my classmate's
Doesn't
dad,
feel for the emu.
No.
my classmate's dad had to round it up and put it back in the pen.
Well, anyway, this is as close as we're going to get to a reenactment of Kirby's childhood being chased by
And
a
you know
bird.
what? These kids are going to be forever Trump, especially that one kid that gets knocked over by it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I feel for the kid.
Never going to go near another emu in that person's life.
Speaking of social media, it's Two Dad Tuesday, 2 days ago Tuesday. Joe's viral sensation. So you basically send us your photos of something that happened on Sunday because it's 2 days ago Tuesday.
Kirby watched a movie, The Last Boy Scout. Could have posted a picture.
Do you have a photo?
Could have gone viral.
I didn't take a photo.
Oh,
No.
God. Are you not on board with 2 days ago
I
Tuesday?
did take a photo of the food I made while I watched the movie. I made a lasagna soup.
Hashtag what
Lasagna soup.
That's not supposed to be soup.
What the
Yes,
heck?
it's a trend on TikTok,
Maybe you
Joe.
used
I
too
think you
much
would like
sauce.
it.
Soup?
The number 2. So hashtag the number 2 DAT.
Yeah, I want to see the lasagna
Lasagna
soup.
soup.
To that.
Philly Joe Kirby.
Philly Joe and Kirby.
Podcast.
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
You can't just tease me like that, Joe. Right before we flip the mics on to start recording the PJK Extra, you're like, I got something to tell you, but I'm not telling you until the PJK Extra. Like, that's like, Christmas Eve, waiting to open your presents in the morning. It's difficult for me to wait.
Well, there's no given morning that either Kirby will come and say, hey, this is on the, pop culture calendar today, or you'll throw out a birthday sometimes, right, of a famous celebrity. But what caught me off guard was today is World Vegetarian Day. And I threw that out at Kirby, our resident vegetarian, because the other day was Hug a Vegetarian Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now is the vegetarians are thriving. We are being celebrated.
The harvest. All the vegetables
exactly
coming
it.
in.
Yeah.
I have to believe.
Yeah.
That's
so
why.
Are we celebrating today? Is that what you...
Well, no, it wasn't about that. I was just creating more awareness for your peeps, the vegetarians.
Good for you, Joe.
Yeah.
Thanks, Joe.
And then you're both coffee drinkers. It's International Coffee Day today, which is pretty much every day, I think, if you're a coffee drinker.
Yeah.
No one ever takes time and coffee off, right?
Yeah.
You're not giving up coffee.
I'll try to. There'll be days where I'm like, I should probably go with just one coffee today.
Cup.
Because the morning coffee is non-negotiable.
You'll cut back, but you're never giving it all up.
The afternoon coffee, usually on my way to one of my kids' hockey practices or games. If it's a Friday, I'll grab one. Because it's Friday, I don't care if I can't sleep.
Isn't it very rare you would see a hockey parent without a Tim's in their hand?
That's what I thought. It's like
100%.
It's like a staple. If there was a Barbie that came out that depicted, a hockey rink mom, it would come with a Tim's cup.
I walk in to see a buddy of mine's kid play, and they see me like without a cup. They think I'm a tourist. They know I'm an outsider.
What kind of hockey dad are you?
There's no cup.
Hey, it's either a Timmy's cup or a Yeti. The
Yeti,
Yetis are
yes.
a staple.
Yeah.
Staple at
Then
the
you know
rinks.
you got a double header if it's the Stanley, the big size. You know you're there for a tournament.
I got to say this about the vegetables. So International Vegetarian Day.
Yeah, either World.
So Joe earlier today offered me carrots.
I did.
Carrots, and I want to ask you guys this. Like typically, if Joe had said to me, "Hey, I've got half a chocolate bar here," or "I've got," people, I'll take you up on that. Like, want a Reese's peanut butter cup? Yeah, I'm grabbing it.
But never.
when someone says to me, "Hey," because Joe always has carrots. He's got a Ziploc full, and he says to me, "You want the rest of my carrots?" I will never say yeah to that. That's a great offer.
Yeah.
Thank you for being generous.
Either did the vegetarian. She didn't want
Well,
any.
once in a while, I'll take you up on an offer.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah. But Phil makes a good point. No one's taking your carrots, but if you had something tasty, he might be game.
Okay. But this is the day, Kirby, I am totally shocked that you did not mention today when you came in this morning.
Is it National Selfie Day?
No. This is the day that you celebrate the animal that is the most misunderstood and who are known as being pests or, quote, nuisance animals. It's International Raccoon Appreciation Day.
Oh my gosh, trash pandas.
How could you not recognize this day?
Out of all the days.
You love them.
I just saw the video that people have mentioned before, the dude who feeds like 100 raccoons hot dogs on his deck.
But that guy lives in the wilderness, right?
Yeah,
There's no
he's
way.
living his best life.
He lives in rural North America for sure.
Yeah.
So I can't wait. I know you said I will never have buy a house, so that might be true. But if you ever live like outside of an apartment, I am going to round up raccoons and bring them to your place and let them roof through your garbage. Because you love them, so we might as well have them all on your property.
Well, if I was going to have a house, we would have a housewarming for them.
It's not just Raccoon Day. It's International Raccoon Appreciation Day.
And I would like to take a moment of appreciation for the small, little, cute things that they are with their cute little hands and their fingers.
You do have a thing for animals.
They have
like
family
improv.
values.
This is not a written, prepared speech.
Yeah.
This is all improv.
Raccoons are very, they look out for their young.
And you
Mama raccoons are very, loving.
I tell you, loving. I had two babies on my roof, and I swear, if you had heard the mother scream, it sounds like a child beaten.
Yeah.
It's like unbelievable, that screech and sound.
Sometimes they get out of hand, and you
It's
got to
tough
round
love.
them up,
You do have a thing for animals that root through garbage, though. Seagulls, raccoons.
Some of your favorites.
Rats.
Yeah, rats. You like rats?
Yeah, rats.
Too? Yeah.
Because you know what? Somebody's got to love the animals
That's
that go
true.
for the garbage.
That's true. Okay, there you go.
Anyway, I thought I'd leave you on a high note today.
Great
Kirby.
info. And I don't want your carrots. Stop trying to sell me on your
Are
carrots.
you kidding? I'm bringing just chocolate bars.
That's PJK Extra.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Amen, Flo. Pearl Jam, 92.1 City.
Joe was just humming along.
Let's go, Joe. Do it.
No, I can't do it unless the song's on. No, the song's got to be on when I get rolling.
Okay.
I can never do it without music. I don't know why. Just been the way. Don't know the words to songs, can't sing words to songs, make up words to songs. Just
you want me to play it again so you can ta-ta-tee-tee-ta your way through
No, we
it?
don't. No.
Just want to say Eddie Vedder performed over the weekend with his daughter a cover of a Taylor Swift song, and it was so good.
Eddie Vedder's unbelievable.
I mean, just as a vocalist, the
Pearl
dude is
Jam.
insane.
We were hearing a lot of that. David Grohl's done it a few times.
Yeah.
Now that he's got a new member to the family, we'll see how long. That's about 14, 15 years
I think
away
he's
from
got
happening.
other family issues going on.
Didn't they cancel some tour dates?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Cool.
shows, that are
Shows.
coming up. And
I didn't know that.
yeah. I mean, his daughter, Violet, who he's performed with in the past, she's deleted all her social media.
And that's who I feel the worst for. Like, obviously, Dave's trying to patch up his marriage, his family. So your heart goes out to the people who didn't do anything to deserve this. Like his daughter, Violet, his wife, everybody, those people involved.
Because it's public, yeah.
They're dealing with his public adultery, a new, stepsister? No, how does that work?
That would be a half sister.
Half sister, right?
Yeah.
So, whatever. It's a lot. And how old's Violet?
I think she's only like 16 or 17.
Like, can you imagine?
Yeah.
Can you imagine you're famous and everybody
And
knows who you
she's
are?
that's like been her thing, is her growing music career thanks to her dad.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that would be pretty embarrassing. I'm not going to lie.
Of
Well,
course.
and mom's stress, right?
Yeah.
You see your mom
Yeah.
stressing too.
Probably
right?
shattered from
Yeah.
this news. Excuse me. So I'm getting choked up. Like, geez, no.
Get it together, Phil.
Granola bar. Anyway, I'm sure they'll patch it all up and work it all out eventually.
But yeah, I saw that Eddie Vedder thing on the weekend. Then I also saw that, and I said this to Joe. This was really cool. So Tony Hawk is celebrating, I think, the 30th anniversary of Pro Skater. Do you remember Pro Skater on like the
Yes,
PS,
yeah.
the
The
PlayStation?
video game?
Yes,
Of course.
Okay, I used to play that all the time. Anyways, Tony Hawk's son and Kurt Cobain's daughter, Frances Bean Cobain, had a baby over the weekend. So
Okay, run that by me again. Tony Hawk's
Hawk's son
and
Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love's daughter
Frances
had a
Bean.
baby. Yes.
Had a baby. So Tony Hawk's a grandpa.
Wow.
And if Kurt was around, he would be a grandpa.
Yeah. Or so Courtney loves a grandma. We could go
Yes.
with that since she's still alive.
Yeah, but it's just a cool,
Yes.
like if Kurt was around, because there's a lot of people who.
What a famous kid.
I know,
Holy
right?
God, look at those genetics. That's all right.
That's what I mean. Like, what a cool pairing.
How about that though? Grandpa, really? Another signed skateboard? Like, can we?
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
You got the Halloween candy already, Joe?
Listen, I got a text. I really
I'm
have.
offended.
What? Don't be offended. You don't know the story yet. Like, stop being so dramatic. You know what? I got to be honest. I only need one woman in my life to be
Well,
dramatic.
you're blessed, and you
I'm
have
blessed.
two.
Yes.
So, yes.
Stop
One at
being
work, one at
Super
home.
blessed. I don't even know why I bother.
Hashtag blessed.
No, hashtag super blessed was what came out of his mouth, okay?
It's
Yeah.
to that, okay? It's 2 days ago, Tuesday. You're supposed to post your pictures. What happened on Sunday? Well, I don't know. My wife went grocery shopping. I was playing in a golf tournament, their first ever, the Springfield Winterhawks. Putting a team together out in Springfield. Quentin Howden and a bunch of guys out there invited me out on Sunday. I had a great time.
Nice weather.
So, yeah, beautiful. My wife goes grocery shopping. I come back Sunday night. It was late. I wake up Monday morning and she tells me she's taking care of some of the Halloween candy, if this is the kind I like. These chocolate bars, they're full-size chocolate bars. She went grocery shopping. And she gives me a price on what she's got them down to. Now, I'm not that person. I never know. I just pay.
Yeah.
Right? But my wife's got it down to a science on, so now she's got the chocolate bars figured out. I get a text this morning on her way to school. It's about 7:15. I don't know what's open at 7:15 already, but apparently she rounded out the rest of the chocolate bars and got these ones for like 8 cents cheaper. And I'm going, wow.
Holy, Christy's efficient.
But now I can talk about it because she's in class. And you know me and my anxiety when it comes to Halloween. You have to have enough chocolate bars. I can't run out. Last year I had 150 kids and I had 155 full-size chocolate bars. And it was the one year I could say, I told you.
Yeah, and
So
you're
I still
worried.
got to go to Costco with you because I
Yeah.
keep a couple of boxes later in the
Hidden.
trunk.
You're
hidden.
worried. You're worried, and all due respect to Christy, but you're worried she didn't buy enough. She didn't buy a Joe amount.
100%.
Because you get the forklift out. You get the guy, the forklift operator. You're buying pallets of chocolate bars.
You're offended because every year you get to go and then you let me hear about it for about a month and a half on how your shopping cart, and you brought them into work, and that's it.
Well, Joe, do I ever do anything without you having to hear about it?
We're going to go.
And B, that's why I was offended, because it's something I look forward to is when JoJo says, we got to go get some chocolate bars for Halloween.
My wife went rogue.
Yeah,
I had nothing to do with it.
You're going to need to go together, though.
Well, yeah, we're going together,
because
Kirby.
I want a pallet or a big thing of muffins. I love those Costco
those muffins are good.
Yeah.
Well, the best is you got to buy 2 things of them, because that's how they sell them. You can't just buy one.
No. I know. You're going, like, this is not just a one-off. We're going to Costco. We're coming back with muffins for everybody. We might even have to have a staff meeting.
And a chicken. And one of those express.
You want a
nice rotisserie chicken.
Broiled chicken for sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Problem.
When are you guys going?
Do you want to have a lamb leg as well?
Some lamb chops would be nice.
Oh, good.
If you're there. The
Maybe
meat
they got
department.
a full lamb, actually.
I'll tell you right now, why don't you two go together and just bring me back the rest of my chocolates? Be safer.
For more Philly, Joe, and Kirby, log it into 92.1 City weekday mornings 6 to 10.